Hello YouTube family, welcome back to Glamour Celebs. In 1991, career starter Johnny Carson announced that he was retiring from The Tonight Show, now hosted by Jimmy Fallon. At that time, David Letterman was the obvious replacement. However, NBC picked Leno for the coveted gig, which started a long-rumored feud between the two comedians. Shortly after the controversial hiring decision, Carson had Letterman on the show and asked him how pissed he was about the matter. The guest tried to be civil but clearly expressed that it was still a sore topic. Even years later, Letterman remained bitter about that time. One time, he told Oprah Winfrey that Leno was the most insecure person he'd ever met. There was also a time when the former lost it after the latter scored a certain exclusive interview. But somehow, Leno didn't feel like they had a rift. Here's what really happened between them. Johnny Carson asked David Letterman how pissed he was at Jay Leno. In an episode that aired on October 30, 1991, Carson introduced his Tonight Show guest, Letterman, as his good friend, who has had his own highly successful show on NBC for a decade. The audience cheered for the late-night host, to which he told Carson, "I've never been so damn popular." After a few pleasantries about their comedic skills and a helium anecdote from Letterman, Carson confronted him about Leno, asking, "Just how pissed off are you?" The guest immediately stood up, claimed himself down, and even wiped his forehead with a hanky. "I've never asked that question in many years," added the host. Letterman then answered, "Let me give you a piece of advice. You keep using language like that, and you're gonna find yourself out of a job." Carson went on to ask about Letterman's thoughts on a friend of his taking over here next May, which he pretended not to hear correctly. He went on to admit he was nervous as the host asked him about his alleged plans to firebomb NBC. Letterman jokingly replied, "I hate waiting in line, but I'll do it." After that, he clarified, "I'm not angry. I'm not angry at NBC about this. I'm not angry at Jay Leno about this. Not angry at you or The Tonight Show about this. I mean, realistically, if it were not for you, I wouldn't have a show, and wouldn't have socks, actually, if it weren't for you. Now, would I like to have this show? Oh, sure, yeah, and from what I know of you, a guy can make a pretty comfortable living doing this show." David Letterman thought he was Johnny Carson's rightful Tonight Show heir. Part of the rumors that Letterman was angry about the whole Leno ordeal was that he admittedly blamed NBC executives rather than accept responsibility for myself. For his 2017 biography, Letterman, The Last Giant of Late Night, the talk show veteran realized he was up to my nose, thinking he was the rightful heir to the Tonight throne as he idolized and killed Carson with a joke during his stand-up bit on the show in 1978. In the docuseries The Story of Late Night, Rob Burnett, the executive producer of Late Night, stated, "Dave is the obvious choice. He just sat at that desk. He's been a loyal soldier. And he's the best guy on TV. What more do you need?" It turns out that you do need something else. However, Jay Leno's Tonight monologue writer revealed that Jay had the secret deal with NBC. In the end, Leno's ratings outperformed Letterman on their back-to-back NBC shows. The network's former vice president explained that Jay Leno had just signed a new deal that guaranteed Jay The Tonight Show whenever Johnny Carson stepped down. Jay Leno denied feuding with David Letterman. When asked about his side of the story, Leno insists that he loves Letterman. Speaking to Neil Brennan in 2023, he said, "You know, I love Letterman. The thing I liked about it was that I got the ratings and Dave got the critics, and that seems fair. And you know something, if you flipped it, that would be okay too. I think we both did okay in that way." He confessed to getting hurt at times when they were intensely pitted against each other, but Leno credits Letterman for helping him with more material for his work. "He and I were the perfect foil for each other," shared the latter. "Because any time I spent with Letterman, I always left with more material than I came in with." He continued, "We would have a conversation and we'd both be laughing, and there's no greater joy than putting something in that Letterman genuinely laughed at. To this day, Letterman makes me laugh as much as anybody. Fascinating character, funny, and there's a connection we have that I can't describe." So guys, this was all about today's video. Share as much as you can. That really motivates us to create more content for you guys. With this, we end our video. Hope you liked the video.